Everybody to Red Wilson Field. It's a cross-division matchup on this Sunday evening between the Falmouth Commodores and the YD Red Sox. Welcome into the broadcast booth. Brian McLaughlin here with Andre Sims. Andre, a couple of lefties on the mound today between the Commodores and YD. Ian Seymour from Virginia Tech gets the start for the Red Sox, and Chris Gonzalez from Stetson for the Commodores. YD sitting at 15-11-2 coming into today's action. Falmouth 13-11-1, but they have been one of the best teams in the month of July here in the Cape League. And the Commodores closing quickly in the Western Division standings. Should be a good matchup today between these two squads.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are two teams that played a very competitive doubleheader in Falmouth earlier in the season, both games really being back and forth affairs. We saw really good offense in those. We saw good defense. Hayden Cantrell has absolutely torched this YD team, but they dodge a bullet today, does YD, with Hayden Cantrell not in the lineup today. But Falmouth boasts one of, if not the hottest hitter on Cape Cod right now in Zach DeLoach, and that's going to be a tough ask for Ian Seymour to really be able to shut down.
Ian Seymour does lead the league in strikeouts, though, with 32 coming in. We know he is the swing and miss stuff, but as you mentioned, really tough matchup with the likes of Zach DeLoach hitting .417, Trey Cruz .318, right in the middle of this lineup tonight for the Commodores, and this offense has been putting up big-time numbers. What are you expecting from Seymour?
Yeah, it's really going to come down to the strikeouts. I mean, we've said this time and time again. It almost feels like beating a dead horse, but when this YD team runs into problems because there's traffic on the base paths. And one thing that Ian Seymour does very well is limit that. We've seen him be a little susceptible to giving up hits here and there in a couple of his starts, but in his last start, which was without a doubt his best, very few base runners had the strikeout pitch working. I believe he had 9 in his previous start. And so that's what it's got to be. He's got to be out in front. He's got to be working quickly. He's got to stay in front of these hitters. And the strikeouts have to be high, because if this Falmouth lineup starts barreling him up, it could spell trouble.
Offensively for the Red Sox, Wyatt Young comes in second behind Zach DeLoach in hitting in the league, but he's all the way down at .366, still starting the All-Star game at shortstop. And Austin Wells is hitting above .300 over his last 7, but no longer in the lead in the Cape League for home runs as Wells. Nico Cavadas with 3 long balls past him last night, but still those two, that's where the offense is running through.
Yeah, first of all, what a performance from Nico Cavadas to go yard not once but twice, but thrice in that game. But yeah, I mean, as Austin Wells and Wyatt Young go, so does this YD offense. It's how it's been for a large chunk of this season. And it's going to be hard for this team to continue to lean on those two so heavily. At a certain point, some of the other guys who got off to hot starts and who we know can perform better than they have been of late, looking at guys like Andrew Eister. Riley King's been swinging a hot bat of late, but at some point there's got to be that third and fourth option. What made this team so good in the beginning parts of this year was that 1 through 5, 1 through 6, there were no breaks. Every single person in the lineup was capable of getting the base hit, capable of getting the extra base hits. The power was there. The offense has kind of regressed to the mean a little bit as far as the Cape League standards are concerned, as far as their capabilities are concerned. And so at a certain point, it's got to start picking back up.
First pitch coming up next between the Commodores and the Red Sox here at Red Wilson Field. We'll be back. This is YD Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Back here at Red Wilson Field for the top of the first inning, it's Ian Seymour on the hill for YD. Entering today, Seymour, 1-2 record, 3.25 ERA, and 4 starts on the bump for the Red Sox. Seymour's gone 19 and a third innings on the mound with 32 strikeouts. That's tops in the Cape League. The lefty from Virginia Tech. Here's the lineup he'll face today for the Falmouth Commodores. Blake Dunn from Western Michigan leads off in center field. Tim Tawa is in left from Stanford. Zach DeLoach bats third, the hottest hitter in the Cape League, hitting .417 from Texas A&M. Trey Cruz, the switch hitter from Rice, is in the cleanup hole. Taylor Smith, the catcher from Grayson County, bats fifth. Troy Claunch bats sixth. Tyler Ross from Alabama, the switch hitter, is in the designated hitter spot, also pitches for the Commodores, batting seventh. Steven Moretta bats eighth from Cal State Sacramento, and Kevin Kendall, the UCLA Bruin at shortstop, rounds out the order tonight for the Commodores. Here's the defense for YD that lines up behind Seymour. Andrew Eister in left field, Brad Beasley in center, Jake Palmer in right. The infield, Riley King at third base, Wyatt Young and RJ Yeager up the middle, and Tate Samuelson on the first base bag. Seymour's battery mate tonight, Austin Wells, the all-star starting catcher in the Eastern Division. YD and Falmouth just about set to get underway here from Red Wilson Field. YD comes in after a tough loss last night, 15-3 at the hands of Orleans. Falmouth comes in after a loss as well last night to Brewster, snapping a bit of a win streak for the Commodores. Dunn getting ready to start this ball game. He'll bat from the right side. All black uniforms today for the Commodores. Gray pants with high maroon socks and maroon trim. Seymour from the windup. First pitch on its way to Dunn. Curveball misses way outside to the righty for ball one. Underway here from Red Wilson. Dunn hitting .243. 1-0 from Seymour. Fastball misses away. 2 balls and no strikes. Just 1 extra base hit for Dunn on the season. He has some really good speed from the right side. Here's the 2-0. Fouled back by Dunn, 2 balls and a strike. First pitch came in at about 5:04 today. Beautiful day for baseball. A little bit on the hot side, but scattered clouds overhead. Wind drifting out to left. 2-1. Swing and a miss from Dunn. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes. Dunn choking up on the bat. Here's the 2-2. Change up, misses up and away, and the count runs full to the first batter of the game for Falmouth. Falmouth offense that has struggled a bit in the run department, but they put up really great numbers statistically. The 3-2 to Dunn. One hopper, right side, right at the second baseman. Yeager gobbles it up, fires to first, and retires Blake Dunn for the first out here in the top of the first inning. One down now for Tim Tawa. YD in their home white uniforms, Red Sox across their chest, almost identical to the Boston Red Sox home whites. The alternate caps today for YD. White paneling on the front, navy blue with a red brim. First pitch to Tawa. Fastball misses away, 1-0. Tawa hitting .239 from Stanford. 6 foot, 185 pounds from the right side. Chokes up on the bat. The 1-0. Hit in the air, shallow, center field. Yeager, the second baseman, backpedaling out onto the outfield grass, and he makes the catch just to the right of second. 2 soft outs from the Commodores, and with 2 down, that's going to bring up Zach DeLoach, by far the hottest hitter in the Cape League. DeLoach hitting .417. Leads the league. He has 4 long balls, and in every sense of the word has just been on fire.
Yeah. I mean, he is 30 for 72 on the season, and that right there should tell you everything you need to know. 4 home runs now, 18 RBIs. It's just an incredible stat line.
Lefty from Texas A&M. First pitch, breaking ball, misses away to DeLoach, 1-0.
Like, at this point, we're approaching MVP conversation right now.
No question. DeLoach has thrust his name into that conversation. Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss over a changeup from Seymour. A ball and a strike. Have to think that it's Deloach, probably Nick Gonzalez, Austin Wells might be the three front runners at the moment.
Absolutely.
Seymour from the windup. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball misses away to Deloach. 2 balls and a strike. Scoreless top of the first here at Red Wilson. Falmouth and YD. 2 down. Nobody on base for the Commodores in their first ABs today against Seymour. Deloach at the plate. The 2-1. Fastball misses tight. 3 balls and a strike to Deloach. Only has 8 walks on the season. He struck out 16 times. Has made his living putting the ball in play. Whitey has the shift on in the infield. Young, the shortstop, is to the right of the second base bag. Here's the 3-1. Swing and a miss right through the fastball. And the count is full to Deloach. King, the only infielder on the left side of the diamond for YD. Brad Beasley into the right center gap out there in center field, and Palmer shaded down the line as well in right. Here's the 3-2. Grounded right side softly, backhanding it Yeager, off balance throw to first in time. Deloach is retired. Seymour works a clean 1-2-3, top of the first. YD lineup coming up next when we return here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the first inning, it's Chris Gonzalez on the hill for the Falmouth Commodores. The southpaw from Stetson enters with an 0-2 record, 8.80 ERA on the bump for Falmouth. His 5th start of the season, hasn't made any relief appearances, has been one of the starters in the rotation since day 1 for Falmouth. 15 1/3 innings on the season for Gonzalez. He's struck out 14 and walked 5. Here's the offense that YD sent to the plate against Gonzalez today. Wyatt Young, the mainstay in the leadoff hole at shortstop from Pepperdine, second behind Zach Deloach in the league in hitting. Brad Beasley batting second from Cal Poly in center. Austin Wells, the all-star, bats third. Noah Campbell, the 2-time all-star, is in the cleanup hole at DH. Tate Samuelson at first, bats fifth. Riley King, another all-star starter for YD, is at third base batting 6th. Jake Palmer back in right field, bats 7th. Andrew Eister is 8th. He's slumping from South Carolina. They need to get him going. And then R.J. Yeager rounds out the order from Mercer batting 9th. Young is in the lefty batter's box, lefty-lefty. First pitch from Gonzalez, ripped foul off the foot actually of Young. And it's 0-1 as he chopped it off his own cleat. As hot as Zach Deloach has been, Wyatt Young has been on his toes for the majority of this hot streak. Arguably the 2 hottest hitters in the Cape League. Young, last couple days, his average has dropped just a hair to 365, but has had his average right up around the 400 mark as well. 0-1. 2-hopper, right side. Backhanded by the first baseman, Claunch. Flips to the pitcher, Gonzalez covering. Just beats Young to first on the forehand flip from Claunch. And that's the first out here in the bottom of the first inning. Young is retired.
From Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, number 5, Brad Beasley.
One down now for Brad Beasley, making his 4th straight start in the 2 spot for the Red Sox. Has swung it really well. Right-handed hitter from Cal Poly over the last 7 days. First pitch of the bottom of the first to Beasley in there for strike 1. Scoreless between the Commodores and the Red Sox. Bottom one. Gonzalez from the windup with the bases clear. The pitch. Popped up right side by Beasley. Oncoming Deloach in right field. Battling the sun, he's there to make the catch, trotting towards the line, and a quick 2 outs from Gonzalez on the mound. Beasley has been hitting .429 over his last 7 games, but retired there by Gonzalez. And with 2 outs and the bases empty, that brings up Austin Wells, an MVP candidate in his own right, along with Zach Deloach. First pitch to Wells. Fastball misses away for ball 1. Home plate umpire tonight, Joseph Caraco. Mark Chamberlain down the line at first, and Jeffrey Mertzel handles the second and third base backs. The 1-0. Off speed, misses down and away to Wells. 2 balls and no strikes. Wells had been holding the home run leaderboard for just under 2 weeks, but Nico Cavadas swiped that from him last night. 2-0 bounced foul by Wells towards the Commodores' first base dugout. 2-1. A 3 home run night for Cavadas. He's at 7. Austin Wells sitting at 6. The 2-1. Bounced softly back up the middle. Shortstop charging it. That's Kendall. Right side of second. Sidearms to first, and he gets Wells by just about a half step. Both teams go 1-2-3 in the first. This is Red Sox baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the second inning back here at Red Wilson Field. Brian McLaughlin and Andre Sims. Cruz, Smith, and Claunch due up for the Commodores here in the visitor half of the second inning. Both teams went down an easy 1-2-3 in the first. Ian Seymour on the mound for the Red Sox. Trey Cruz, the switch hitter from Rice, bats from the right side, hitting .318 on the season. First pitch from Seymour. Popped up, foul territory, right side. Samuelson chases it towards the bleachers, but it falls into the grass in foul territory. That's strike 1 to Cruz. Cruz using a pink bat at the plate. Reminds me of Major League Baseball, and they all use pink bats, pink accessories on Mother's Day. Here's the 0-1. Misses away, a ball and a strike. That's always a fun time of year when MLB teams go the blue bats, the pink bats. Father's Day for blue, Mother's Day is pink. 1-1. Grounder, left side. 2 hops to Riley King at third. He crow hops and throws to first and retires Trey Cruz for the first out here in the second. 4 up, 4 down against Ian Seymour on the hill. Of course, Chatham often goes with the royal blue bats. Interesting spin on things there. I'm not sure why Cruz uses the pink bat. We might have to get some answers there.
Yeah, we'll put a feeler out to our sources in Falmouth and see if we can get an answer there. And Brian, we were talking about, I didn't know who it was in batting practice that absolutely smoked one up into the bushes right there just in front of the fence out in right field.
First pitch called strike to Taylor Smith, the catcher. It's 0-1.
And it was Trey Cruz because he was swinging the pink bat.
There you go. Helps him stand out, that's for sure, from his teammates. The 0-1. Smith checks his swing. Fastball misses high from Seymour. A ball and a strike to Smith, hitting .226 on the season, but major power, 5 long balls. Swing and a miss. Now a ball and 2 strikes. .31 at-bats, 5 home runs for Smith in just 10 games. Here's the 1-2. Misses away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He's averaging a home run every other game. That's hard to do. Hits from the right side from Grayson County College. 2-2, fouled back. We'll see another 2-2 from Seymour. 4 outs, yet to get a strikeout out there on the mound. Cape League leader in strikeouts coming in. But nobody's really squared Seymour up either. Here's another 2-2. Smith takes, called strike 3. Fastball on the inner edge. There's the first strikeout of the day for Seymour, and he's set down 5 straight to begin the ball game.
Right on cue there.
Helps that I brought it up when there were 2 strikes.
This is also true. Deck was definitely stacked in your favor there, but still got it nonetheless.
We'll take it. 2 down now for Troy Clunch. Oregon State product, playing first base today. Does some catching as well for the Commodores. Here's the first pitch to the righty. Misses down and in. A ball and no strikes. Falmouth comes into today 3rd place in the Western Division. They trail Cotuit by 5 points. Wareham by 6. 1-0. Swing and a miss from Claunch. A ball and a strike. Wareham and Cotuit have emerged as the clear 1-2 powers of that Western Division. Falmouth pretty firmly cemented in the 3 spot. 1-1. Swing and a miss. A ball and 2 strikes. Falmouth 7 points clear of Bourne, and they're 7 points clear of Hyannis. So some major separation right now in the West, whereas the entire Eastern Division is only separated by 8 points. Chatham on top with 34. Harwich in the cellar at 26. Seymour, slow windup. Now the 1-2 to Claunch. Fastball misses away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Definitely feels like the East is up for grabs, and it's somebody between Wareham, Cotuit, and Falmouth that's going to take the West. Now the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Seymour gets back-to-back strikeouts to end the second. Campbell, Samuelson, and King due up for YD in the bottom of the second inning. We're scoreless here at Red Wilson. This is the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the second, we're scoreless between Falmouth and YD. Noah Campbell digging in to lead things off for the Red Sox here in the home half of the second. Campbell, the switch hitter, will bat from the right side against the southpaw Gonzalez on the mound for Falmouth. The wind from Gonzalez. First pitch to Campbell, skips low in the dirt for ball one. Campbell has been hitting a bit of a skid here. 217 hitter over the last 7 games, but still a 275 average, good enough to earn him a reserve spot in the All-Star game. Here's the 1-0. Campbell grounds it sharply, third base side, backhanded third baseman Moretta. Long throw to first in time to get Campbell. Campbell squared it up, but Moretta makes a nice backhanded play to get the first out here in the second.
The first baseman from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo.
One down for Tate Samuelson. Yet to have a base runner in this one. One out here in the bottom of the second. Both pitchers have cruised thus far. Samuelson hitting 220 on the year from the right side out of Cal Poly. First pitch, softly hit back up the middle. Backhanded attempt by Cruz, but he can't field it cleanly, and Samuelson will be aboard with a single. One out knock for Samuelson off the end of the bat. Just poked it over the head of Gonzalez, a humpback liner that then took an odd hop off of Cruz's forearm, trying to backhand the ball up the middle. And YD with the first base runner of the ball game with one down. Samuelson starting to square the ball up, and now a man who's really seemingly starting to figure it out at the plate, Riley King, in the 6th spot tonight. The All-Star hitting 340 over his last 7. First pitch fastball misses away to the righty King. It's 1-0. Has both of his home runs on the season in that stretch. Both came on the same day. Here at Red Wilson. The 1-0. King bounces it softly up the first base side. Going to be a tough play. First baseman Claunch fields, flips to Gonzalez. Not in time. Gonzalez was covering the bag. Samuelson moves to second. That's going to be a perfectly placed infield single for Riley King. Just dribbled it up the first baseline. Claunch made a fine play on a similar play back in the first to get Wyatt Young, but they can't get Riley King here, and 2 are on with 1 out in the second for YD.
I don't think you can place a bunt better there if you try. That's exactly the area that you want to kind of place a drag bunt. Kind of just into that triangle between the mound first and second. Riley King. And with the height that got off the initial chop, it was going to be a very, very tough play for Gonzalez to make.
2 men on, 1 out, bottom of the second for Jake Palmer. Another man who has been hitting the ball well at the plate as of late for YD. His average up to 297 and 11 walks to 7 strikeouts. And has been getting on base at a great rate. Hits from the left side of UC Irvine. Gonzalez, first pitch, in there for strike 1, and off speed, caught the inner edge to Palmer. Scoreless, bottom of the second. Gonzalez with the 0-1. Palmer sharply hit ground ball left side. Shortstop has it. Kendall flips to Cruz 1. The relay to first in time. 6-4-3. Smooth inning-ending double play for the Commodores. Kendall, Cruz to Claunch. Scoreless through 2. YD strands 1 on a couple of hits in the second. Top of the third. Coming up next on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Top of the third inning,
Leading off the third inning, designated hitter
Ian
for the
Seymour has
University
set
of
down every
Alabama,
single batter he's
number
faced so
20,
far in this one.
Tyler
6 up, 6
Ross.
down for the YD lefty, making his final appearance for the Red Sox here in 2019. 7, 8, and 9 due up for the Commodores. As the first pitch to Tyler Ross is fouled back, and it's 0-1.
Seymour is throwing a lot of balls early, and normally we see him only in the strike zone. So his command hasn't been as on point as we've seen, but the stuff as good as ever early, getting a lot of outs.
0-1 pitch is a good off speed, and Ross swings over the top of it, and it's quickly 0-2. Seymour, uncharacteristically, you could say, pitching to contact through the first couple innings, did get back-to-back strikeouts down the second, and starts the third off with another K, and that's his third of the day.
It's interesting. The first couple innings, it felt like he was still just kind of getting a handle on his stuff. He didn't know where exactly it was going. And now that last 3 batters, he has 3 strikeouts. I think he's starting to settle in with where he's locating it, as well as it's really moving today. That pitch had a lot of two-seam action away.
Good late life on that fastball. As now Steven Moretto steps in, Sac State product. Slow chopper to Riley King at third. He feels it on the hop. Over to first. Samuelson digs it out of the dirt, and that's the second out of the inning.
Nice play by Riley King. Really showed off some good arm strength there. Had to wait and get the high hop, and then big crow hop and the strong throw to first. It's not an easy play for a third baseman, knowing you got to wait for the big hop.
Also had to navigate that potentially landing and kicking off the third base bag. So
that's got to be terrifying, right? You see that ball in the bag coming close. Just that's your worst nightmare as any infielder, seeing the ball come near the bag.
So quickly 2 outs, and Kevin Kendall's UCLA shortstop steps in and takes the first pitch for a called strike 0-1. Seymour, as per usual, working very quickly. Pitches from the third base side of the rubber. The 0-1 pitch is a fastball in the outer half, and it's quickly 0-2. Seymour entered the day with the league leading 31 strikeouts. It is now up to 34. And Kendall fouls it off, spoils the 0-2 pitch into the trees, and it's 0-2 still.
Wasn't a terrible pitch, and Seymour missed his spot a little bit over the middle of the plate and was quickly patting his chest, almost like, my bad, I didn't get the strikeout there. It's the expectations he has of himself right now.
Still 0-2. Got the strikeout that time as Kevin Kendall half-heartedly swings at the breaking ball. And it's another quick 1-2-3 inning for Ian Seymour. 9 up, 9 down for the Commodores. The Red Sox will have 8, 9, and 1 due up for them in the bottom of the third. You're listening to Red Sox Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the third inning here at Red Wilson Field in South Yarmouth. Andre Sims, Brian McLaughlin here with you, bringing you the latest installment of YD Red Sox baseball as they are taking on the Falmouth Commodores in the start of a quick little 3-game homestand. Andrew Eister steps in, playing left field tonight, and he looks at the first pitch downstairs, 1-0.
I think this is a good opportunity for Eister to get going again. Gonzalez is a guy that can be hit pretty hard. He's given up at least 3 earned runs in every start, and Eister just needs something to break the slump.
That one right back up the middle. That deflects off Gonzalez. And the throw will be made by Trey Cruz at second base. It was an excellent play as the ball deflected off of Chris Gonzalez on the mound. Probably slowed it down. Otherwise, you're looking at a base hit for Eister. And, well, Brian, that just kind of sums up where his season is at right now.
Yeah, so Riley King barely gets a piece of the ball and ends up with a hit. He's on fire, at least in the offensive standpoint. Eister can't buy a hit. Absolutely smoked that ball, hits off of Gonzalez and right to the second baseman. He just can't buy a hit. It's just the way, when you're cold, you're cold. When you're hot, you're going to get those to fall.
First pitch swinging is R.J. Yeager, and he chops one to third. Moretto across the diamond. He'll quickly retire Yeager for the second out of the inning, and now it's the top of the order and Wyatt Young.
Man, it just tough job for Yeager there. Attacked a pitch to hit, but I keep thinking about Eister. He just needs something to drop right now. That was a good swing. That's as good of a swing as we've seen him have in probably a week or so. Just needs a little bloop to fall in there, and he could get going again, I think.
So now top of the order in Wyatt Young. That one skied into shallow left field. Tim Tawa underneath it. And it's a quick 1-2-3 inning for the Red Sox. The two pitchers are cruising. Just 2 hits allowed from Chris Gonzalez, but nothing doing for the Red Sox. We head to the top of the 4th inning. You're listening to Red Sox baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the 4th inning, nothing but zeros on the scoreboard thus far through 3. Ian Seymour back out for his 4th inning of work, and he will take on the top of the Falmouth order. It'll be Blake Dunn, Tim Tawa, and Zach Deloach here 1, 2, and 3 and for the 4th inning for Falmouth. Seymour kicks and deals. First pitch, Dunn squares to bunt, but pulls it back. And it's quickly 1-0. Dunn, the Western Michigan product, stands in, batting from the right side. The 1-0. Skied foul and out of play, and it's quickly 1-1. Blake Dunn on the year. Average sits at 243. 18 hits, all but one of them have been singles. Does have 1 double, and 10 RBI for the Commodores. The 1-1 pitch from Seymour. Good off-speed pitch, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, I think that's the changeup from Seymour. He's had them all working so far today, and that one just dives low and away to righties. He really likes to use that pitch to right-handers.
The 1-2 offering. Looked like the same pitch there as it gets underneath the bat of Blake Dunn, and he's down swinging to begin the 4th.
There's 5 strikeouts for Seymour on the mound, and that's going to be kind of how he attacks these guys, I think. Fastball changeup to righties, fastball breaking ball a little bit more to lefties.
So Tim Tawa steps in, popped up to R.J. Yeager just on the outfield grass in right for his first at-bat of the day. First pitch to him misses, and it's 1-0. Ottawa, Pac-12 product. Plays his baseball at Stanford. Chops it weakly foul off the left-hand side, and it's 1-1. The 1-1 on its way. Grounded weakly to the right side. R.J. Yeager scoops it up. He'll go to first, and that's the second out of the inning, 4-3. Seymour continues to work quickly on the mound. Virginia Tech product, already adding to his Cape League lead in strikeouts, and this his last start here on Cape Cod.
In the first couple innings, we talked about it, struggling with command. It was working because he has such good stuff, but he wasn't pinpointing. These last really 2.5 now innings, he's been locked in with his command.
So now Zach DeLoach steps in. He's first pitch swinging, and that one is just foul up the first base line, and it's 0-1.
And even DeLoach, he had off balance in the first inning, got a weak ground out to Yeager moving to his right. And Yeager made a nice play on it, but if there's anybody in this league who I think would square up Seymour with the way Seymour has been throwing it as of late and so far today, it's DeLoach. This is definitely a fascinating matchup with lefty-lefty, and DeLoach as hot as he's been.
Big swing and a miss from DeLoach, and it's 0-2.
Now this will be interesting to see what Seymour does, knowing you can't leave anything over the middle of the plate to DeLoach. He likes to attack with the fastball up in the zone, but you don't want to leave it over the middle up to DeLoach.
DeLoach is 9 for his last 16 in his last 4 games entering today. Now 9 for his last 17 as the 0-2 pitch dances outside, and it's 1-2.
He went slider that time, or the curveball. Maybe goes back toward, or he tries to jam him with the fastball in.
1-2 pitch. Went upstairs with the fastball. DeLoach just nicked it foul back to the screen, and it's still 1-2.
And that's where Seymour likes to live with his fastball. He likes to leave it up there in the zone because it has so much movement. It's hard to square up. And in today's day and age, more and more pitchers are doing that where they start up in the zone.
1-2 again to DeLoach. Swing and a miss on the fastball into the glove of Austin Wells, and that'll retire the side. 12 up, 12 down for Ian Seymour, and the YD offense looks to pick him up. 2, 3, and 4 due up for the Red Sox in the bottom of the 4th. You're listening to Red Sox Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. So Ian Seymour's been automatic through 4 innings of work. The only problem for YD is so is Chris Gonzalez. Only allowed 2 base runners in his own right today. 2, 3, and 4 for the Red Sox as Brad Beasley steps in and takes the first pitch just wide, and it's 1-0.
But Gonzalez has been dominant in a different way. His defense has played really well. There have been some great plays early by the Commodores.
Beasley weakly chops it to third. Another great play from Moretto at third. Spins and fires to first, and that's the first out of the frame.
Feels like to me YD has just been missing some pitches as well. Feels like there's some over the middle of the plate that YD's been able to hit. And Gonzalez has been really good. He's been pitching to contact. That's only his 21st pitch here in the 4th inning. And so he's been really efficient in the strike zone. And YD's been aggressive, and they haven't been able to square him up too much. But good job by the Falmouth defense. They've played really well behind Gonzalez.
It's is some uncharacteristic success here for Gonzalez in this outing as the first pitch to Austin Wells is flared into left, but right at the glove of Tim Tawa, and that's the second out of the inning.
Yeah. Whitey just keeps jumping on these first pitches. It was a 4-pitch third for Gonzalez on the mound, and he's on pace for that again here.
In his 4 outings so far this season, Chris Gonzalez has given up 5 earned runs against Bourne, 4 earned runs against YD earlier in the season, 3 against Brewster, and then 3 at Bourne in his last outing. So very, very much improved since those outings here against YD today, as Noah Campbell takes the first pitch for a called strike, 0-1.
It's a good take by Campbell. Go ahead and try to give your pitcher Seymour a bit of a rest.
That one flared the other way down the right field line, and that'll drop foul harmlessly out of play.
Because back-to-back pitches or innings with pitches under 5 pitches in the inning, all of a sudden Seymour feels like he didn't even get a break in between half innings. The Whitey offense has been aggressive, and they're yet to strike out, so they're hitting it well.
0-2 pitch is in on the hands of Campbell, and Clouch unable to quite make the play on the dive as he was racing over into the foul territory to try to snag that one, and it's still 0-2.
Not exactly strikeout stuff out there on the mound from Gonzalez today. Strikes out less than one batter an inning, and no strikeouts through 3 2/3, but can't argue with the effectiveness, I suppose.
Breaking ball misses wide, and it's now 1-2 to Campbell.
Felt like the second time through the order, Whitey's offense might really get going, but 3 quick outs from their top 3.
Gonzalez's longest outing of the year is 4 2/3. As that one is kicks off the glove of Moretto at third base, and Noah Campbell reaches.
It's going to be an E5, I'd imagine, on Moretto over there at third. Awkward play for him. The way he was set up, it was going to be an in-between hop, and he backed up on it, making it the high hop, but some topspin on the ball probably caused it to shoot on him a little bit. Campbell aboard for YD, and Samuelson now at the plate singled last time up, so maybe they can get something going with 2 outs, and it's good they just extended the inning for Seymour.
So perhaps a bit of a break for YD. We'll see if they can capitalize on it as the first pitch to Tate Samuelson misses wide. And it's 1-0. Sometimes that's all you need is a break to go your way, and it's something to sort of just slow down Chris Gonzalez, get him into the stretch. 1-0 pitch is roped on the first base line, but out of play. And it's 1-1.
You're right. It feels like everything's kind of sped up on these YD hitters right now. And Gonzalez working quickly and efficiently out on the mound. Just get the base runner on, cause some havoc on the base paths. Maybe Campbell can try to swipe second.
And they will check on Noah Campbell as that one squeaks away from Clonch. No advance. Campbell is a good base running threat, among the league leaders on this YD team in steals. Samuelson skies the 1-1 pitch on the infield. Trey Cruz will call everyone off, make the play, and that's the third out of the inning. So the 2-out base runner is erased on the Samuelson pop-up. Still scoreless through 4. You're listening to Red Sox Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Top of the fifth inning, it's 0-0, Falmouth and YD in a pitcher's duel between the Commodores and the Red Sox. Cruz, Smith, Claunch, 4, 5, and 6 here for the Commodores in the top of the fifth. Ian Seymour, the lefty, still working on the mound for the Red Sox. First pitch to Trey Cruz, nubbed foul, first base side, it's 0-1. Seymour has set down the Commodores 1, 2, 3 in every inning so far. 6 strikeouts through 4. 0-1 count to the switch hitting Cruz. Here's the pitch. Fastball misses inside, and it caught the umpire. It's Joseph Caraco. Bounced up the first baseline. Looked like Wells tried to pick a ball in the dirt and skipped off his glove up into the mask of Caraco. Now a ball and a strike. Caraco, a little shaken up. Scott Pickler, as well as the training staff here for YD, out to talk with him.
Yeah, we've seen some umpires just taking some licks this season.
Something about here at Red Wilson, right?
Is proud to be a sponsor of the Cape Cod baseball.
Seymour's been dealing on the mound. Looks like Caraco's going to hang in there. A ball and a strike to Cruz as Seymour gets the baseball back from Wells, and we're set to get back underway here at Red Wilson. 0-0, top 5. Seymour's been dealing. He got Cruz to bounce out to Riley King at third base in his only other at-bat today. Seymour winds. Here's the 1-1. Change-up, swing and a miss from Cruz. Man, he really loves that change-up to the right-handed hitters.
Yeah, that might be the best one he's thrown so far. It was probably the tightest change-up. Not a ton of movement, but the arm action and the pace on that really got him off balance.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Seymour from the third base side of the rubber. Brings the pitch. Line drive, right field, and that's a base hit. Trey Cruz pops one over Yeager's head into right. Palmer gets it back to the infield, and that's a leadoff single in the 5th. Seymour had worked a perfect 4, but Cruz ends that with the single to lead us off here. Nobody out. Taylor Smith to the plate. Powerful right-handed hitting catcher for the Commodores. Cruz has some speed at first. 5 swiped bags and 7 tries. Power at the plate, speed on the base paths for the Commodores. First time we've seen Seymour from the stretch today. The first pitch to Smith. Poured in for strike 1.
And normally with it, and especially this season with some of the YD pitching staff, a leadoff base runner is really cause for concern. But Ian Seymour is one of those guys, Brian, because of his strikeout ability to where you really don't feel any pressure on the mound even after the leadoff single.
Checks on first. Cruz is back with the dive. He's been pretty efficient with his pitches, just up over 50 now. He's at 53. 0-1 count to Smith. Another check on first. Cruz back standing this time. Smith struck out looking in the second against Seymour. Seymour from the stretch sets at the belt. Long stare at first base. Cruz fakes taking off. The 0-1 misses down and in. Cruz back to first. That's ball 1 to Smith.
That was one of the most aggressive bluffs of a steal I think I've seen. I was convinced he was going.
This Falmouth team loves to get moving on the base paths. They lead the Cape League in stolen bases at 48. That's the most by 11. YD in second at 37. Another check on first. Cruz is back. Falmouth base runners have been caught 10 times in 58 tries. It's an 83% success rate. A ball and a strike. Another check on first. Man, Seymour really locked in on Cruz over there. Wells throws pretty well behind the plate. Scoreless top 5 here at Red Wilson Field. Cruz takes off. 1-1 breaking ball, misses high and away. No throw from Wells, and Cruz dives into second base safely.
Yeah, just looked like Wells didn't quite get a grip on that on the transfer, and rather than risk making an errant throw, just decided to eat it and focus on the at-bat.
Cruz got a pretty good jump over on first. I think you're right. I think the breaking ball, Wells didn't quite have the grip, elected to not make things any worse. First man in scoring position today for the Commodores. Cruz on second, nobody out. 2 balls and a strike to Smith. Seymour delivers. This one's drilled high in the air, deep to left. That's down the line. It's hooking, and that's going to be a foul ball. Absolutely hammered from Smith, but way foul. Strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. R.J. Yeager giving some signs to the infield. And as we said earlier, Smith, 5 home runs in 10 games. Light tower power from the right side. Here's the 2-2. Changeup misses low to Smith, and he runs the count full. Hardest Seymour's had to work so far today. Already given up 1 single in the frame. And now a full count to Taylor Smith. Brad Beasley shifted over into left center. Meister down the line. 3-2. Swing and a miss. Seymour gets Taylor Smith. 7th strikeout today, and that's the first out of the 5th for Seymour. 1 down. Cruz still on second, and Troy Claunch strides to home plate. Another righty against the southpaw Seymour. Claunch from Oregon State. Struck out swinging. He's had a rough go of it this summer. Average at 190 below the Mendoza line. No batting glove approach. Yeager still holds Cruz at second. First pitch. Breaking ball. Misses inside. 1-0. Whitey really expecting Claunch to pull it. Samuelson way off the line at first. Yeager almost directly up the middle. Seymour, still from the stretch, turns and looks at second. He had Cruz leaning, but didn't unleash the throw at first. If he had, might have had a play.
Yeah, I definitely think the call was just for the spin, not anticipating the throw. Yeager was there crashing on the play, but I don't think Seymour was prepared to have a chance at that. I think that was just an effort to keep him close.
Had Cruz leaning. Cruz has great speed on second. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. Claunch over the breaking ball. 1-1. 0-0 top 5 here between Falmouth and YD. Commodores, one of the hottest teams in the league coming in. YD has been, feels like going every other game. Win 1, and then they lose 1. Here's the 1-1. Misses high and away to the righty. 2 balls and a strike to Claunch. It's been an odd pattern for YD, and it hasn't been exactly every other game, but it's just been...
It really does kind of feel that way, though.
It feels like it's been about every other game for about a week plus now, where they play good baseball and then they really struggle. Last night was a struggle game against Orleans. They lost 15-3. 2-1 to Claunch. Fisted in on his hands in the infield. Seymour's going to take it himself, and he snags the pop-up for the second out here, the 5th.
And that's an out that's basically as good as a strikeout. It's kept on the infield. No chance at an advance from Trey Cruz at second base. And now you're with 2 outs. You need a base hit, and you're facing someone who Seymour's already struck out in this game. Favorable matchup.
Prior to the loss last night against Orleans, YD had played well in back-to-back games, a tie against Chatham, a win against Brewster. Night before, however, they really struggled against the Whitecaps in a 7-4 loss. First pitch misses outside to Tyler Ross. Ross, another righty. Two-way guy, pitches for the Alabama Crimson Tide, as well as swings the bat. 2 outs, top of the 5th. Leadoff single for Trey Cruz in the inning. He's on second base. The 1-0. Breaking ball in there for strike 2, right at the knees. And it's been a pitcher's duel so far, folks. Both bullpens quiet. Seymour in his longest inning so far. First time he's faced the fourth batter of a frame. The 1-1. Skips down and in, blocked nicely by Austin Wells. Great block by the YD catcher. 2 balls and a strike to Ross.
Yeah, great mobility behind home plate there from Austin Wells. That pitch was at the back foot of Tyler Ross, and Wells sliding over, quickly getting the glove, flipped over, cushioned it into his chest protector as you're taught to do. Well done.
Seymour takes a couple of glances to second. Now the 2-1. Misses inside. Fastball just off the plate. 3-1. Seymour has been one of the best arms for YD all summer. Expected to be his last start of the summer for the Red Sox. 3-1. Misses high and away, ball 4. First walk of the day issued by Seymour. Tyler Ross will jog down to first, and runners are on first and second with 2 outs here for the Commodores. Brings up their third baseman, Steven Moretta.
Sacramento. Steven Moretto.
Moretto from Cal State Sacramento. 6'1", 217. Hits from the right side. He's made a couple nice plays at third, but also an error early today. First pitch. Called strike. Notches the outer edge. Seymour in his first jam today. Runners on first and second. He was perfect through 4. Moretto hitting .211. 1 home run on the season. The 0-1. Fastball misses away, snagged by Wells. Keeps the runners at their places at first and second. A ball and a strike. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Moretto over a changeup. 1-2 now from Seymour. Seymour, by far his longest inning. That was pitch number 70 on the day for him. Here in the top of the 5th. Cruz on second. He led off the frame with a single. Ross on first after a 2-out walk. The 1-2. Misses just outside. Seymour thought he had frozen Moretto. Was starting to stride toward the dugout. Shadows starting to creep onto the field here tonight at Red Wilson. Not playing any factor yet. Now Seymour will step off the rubber. Two balls, 2 strikes. Moretto, windmills, a light brown bat, now brings it up, just up off his shoulder. Here's the 2-2. Fastball misses away from Seymour. He's really starting to slow down a bit. This is a long inning for him. Throwing a lot of pitches. Only a hit and a walk allowed in the frame, but it's been a lot of deep counts. Falmouth working him hard. Three, 2 outs. Runners take off. The pitch. Chopped right back to Seymour. He gets it on a bounce. Fires to first. Samuelson is there. And Seymour works out of the jam in the 5th. We're scoreless through 4.5. King, Palmer, and Eister coming up for the Red Sox. This is the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the fifth, we're scoreless. YD has their 6, 7, and 8 due up. King, Palmer, and Eister against Chris Gonzalez, who has been smooth on the mound for Falmouth tonight. First pitch to King misses low, and the fifth inning is underway. Zeros all across the scoreboard. Falmouth one hit. YD has gotten 2 base knocks. 1-0. King bounces it foul. He had one of the hits, but that was just a little dribbler up the first baseline. He's 1 for 1 today. Here's the 1-1. Fastball called strike. Brushes the inside corner to King. He has a word back with Joseph Caraco. Gonzalez winds. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball ripped foul by King up the third baseline. We'll see another 1-2 pitch. Gonzalez, now the 1-2. King pops it up, first base side, backtracking his Cruz, racing towards the line. He'll take it, and the second baseman makes the running grab, crossing into foul territory. It was back over the head of Claunch. Cruz took over, and he makes the catch for the first out here of the fifth.
The right fielder from the University of California, Irvine, Jake Palmer.
Brings up Jake Palmer. He bounced into a very smooth 6-4-3 double play to end YD's threat in the second. Scorched a ball back up the middle that Kevin Kendall made a nice forehanded play on, and then the backhanded flip to Trey Cruz, who got Palmer at first. First pitch of this at-bat in there for strike 1.
And at a certain point, Brian, this YD offense is going to either have to put together a long inning or put together some long at-bats, because you got to break up the momentum of Gonzalez out there on the mound right now.
0-1. Bounced foul up the first baseline, and now Palmer's down 0-2. Does feel like Gonzalez, while he struggled on the season, really has it locked in. Both he and Seymour have gone toe-to-toe so far. Of course, Seymour has 7 strikeouts. Gonzalez yet to get a K. 1 down, bottom 5. The 0-2 to Palmer. Fouled back. Palmer lost the handle of his bat there at the last second. Spun down, and he's going to go re-Pintar, re-grip, it looks like. Definitely feels like YD needs some sort of spark on offense at the moment. They've only had 2 hits, both those hits coming in the second inning. Tate Samuelson with a soft grounder up the middle, and then Riley King, the bouncer to first. Neither hit left the infield. Now, I wouldn't expect either Eister or Yeager to up 8-9 in the order for YD, but feels like a prime opportunity for a Wyatt Young bunt next time he comes up. Try to spark the offense.
Absolutely.
Lefty-lefty here, 1 down, bottom 5. 2 teams in the midst of a playoff hunt. Gonzalez shakes off a sign. Now the slow wind, and the 0-2 misses outside to Palmer. A ball and 2 strikes. Falmouth in the midst of a brutal stretch. Both these teams are in the midst of stretches where very few off days. Here's the 1-2 to Palmer. Hard grounder, right side. Claunch gloves it. Squats down. Now he races to first and beats Palmer. And there's 2 down in the 5th. That's 10 straight set down out there on the mound by Gonzalez since the Riley King single. Although there was the Noah Campbell error in there, but that's not a hit allowed by Gonzalez on the mound. 2 down for Eister. He had a hard hit ball in his only at-bat that turned into a ground out to Trey Cruz, but looked destined for center field on a sharply hit ball that Gonzalez just got his glove to and knocked it down. First pitch, swing and a miss by Eister. 0-1. Falmouth earlier this season had 5 straight days where they had rainouts. and that's coming back to haunt them. 0-1. Misses down and into Eyster, a ball and a strike. Falmouth, because of all those rainouts, was scheduled to play 33 games in the month of July. 33 games in 1 month that only has 31 days. Here's the 1-1. Misses away to Eyster, 2 balls and a strike.
And that's potentially going to be even more because they just had a game get rained out.
Yep. And that includes the day off of the All-Star break. 3 scheduled doubleheaders, and not a day where everybody on the roster gets an off day. Here's the 2-1. Misses down and into Eyster, 3 balls and a strike. So that's a tough stretch. YD in a 25 games in 25 days stretch. But I think Falmouth takes the cake. Scoreless bottom of the 5th. These two weary teams going at it tonight. The 3-1. Swing and a miss. Eyster comes up empty, and the count is full with 2 down. Here's the wide. Gonzalez to the plate. Misses inside. Ball 4, and Eyster's aboard. First walk issued today by Gonzalez, and it's a 2-out walk for Andrew Eyster, and that brings up R.J. Yeager.
Second baseman from Mercer University.
Eyster seeing the ball well today at the plate. That's only his 5th walk of the season. He's a feast or famine guy quite often, but able to draw the free pass. Now Yeager, who grounded out to Moretta at third base, will come to the plate for the 2nd time today. First pitch. Called strike, fastball right on the outer edge. It's 0-1 to Yeager. From the stretch, the 0-1. Yeager pops it up, foul territory and out of play to the first base side. Gonzalez in command, up 0-2. Eyster, not a ton of base stealing speed over there at first. He'll take off on the occasional hit and run. No balls, 2 strikes to Yeager. 2 down. Here's the pitch. Fouled back by Yeager. Another 0-2. Yeager, 1 for his last 8, has struggled at the plate this season. Freshman All-American, but had a sophomore slump. Hitting 139 as the Red Sox. The 0-2. Flared right side. That's going to get through into right for a hit. Off the end of the bat, just pokes between Claunch and Cruz, and Eyster advances to second and a 2-out single for R.J. Yeager.
And this is what I was talking about. Even potentially if this tree bears no fruit, so to speak, just something to make Gonzalez work on the mound, make him have to throw some extra pitches because, as you said, a 4-pitch inning, I think 2 or 3 of them have been under 10-pitch innings, and so for him, he's absolutely on cruise control. You got to break up that rhythm if you're going to have any success if you're YD tonight.
That brings up Wyatt Young. He has been incredible this season with men in scoring position, driven in all 13 of his runs in situations such as this. 2 down, runners on first and second. Scoreless, YD threatening in the bottom of the 5th. First pitch to Young. Roped into the right center gap. That's going to get down for a hit. Eyster's going to score. Yeager's coming around. Deloach can't handle it in right. Here comes Yeager towards the plate. The throw from Cruz. Yeager's safe. Wyatt Young drives in 2. 2-0 Red Sox in the bottom of the 5th.
And Brian, we were just talking about it in between innings, how feels like Wyatt Young is due. Been hitting well, been hitting for average, but it's been a lot on the ground. A lot just squeaking through the holes. He was due for a pitch to drive, and we've seen him do that. We know he's capable of that, and there it was right there as he got a pitch he could handle, drove it into the right center field gap. Fortunate misplay there from Deloach and right that allowed Yeager to score on the back end, and it's 2-0 Red Sox.
It's going to be at least a single for Young. Not sure if they'll give him the double or Deloach an air out there in right. Would also decide whether the second run is earned or unearned at the moment. First pitch to Brad Beasley misses low in the dirt for ball 1. For reference, Wyatt Young came into today hitting .360 with runners in scoring position in 25 ABs. He now leads from second with 2 down. His team on top 2-0. The 1-0 to Beasley. Fastball called strike. YD finally breaks through here against Gonzalez. All coming with 2 outs. Has to feel good for Andrew Eister to contribute to the offense. Draws the 2-out walk and ends up coming around to score. 1-1. Misses away to Beasley. 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big mental side of things. And even if it wasn't the base hit, it wasn't an RBI hit, it was just a walk, but the walk proving to be a very huge moment in the complexion of this game because now it puts Ian Seymour in a better position, it puts YD in a better position, and it puts Chris Gonzalez continuing in a very stressful situation.
2-1, bounced back to Gonzalez, knocks it down, flipped to first is high, but able to keep the bag is Troy Claunch, and YD is retired in the second. But they get 2-out runs. Wyatt Young, the RBI knock, and YD leads it 2-0. We're through 5. This is the Cape Cod Baseball League. Top of the 6th inning, YD leading Falmouth 2-0. An official double for Wyatt Young, drives in 2. Eister and Yeager score with 2 outs, and the Red Sox have the lead. Kevin Kendall leading off for the Commodores here in the 6th. First pitch against Ian Seymour, swung on and missed. The breaking ball gets Kendall to come up empty, 0-1. Seymour back out for his 6th inning of work, just up over the 70 pitches on the day. The 0-1 bounces in the dirt, a ball and a strike. YD does have some action going down in their bullpen, with Seymour's pitch count rising. Not sure exactly what his limit is tonight. 1-1 to Kendall. This one's drilled deep in the air to right. Jake Palmer going back. He has room, and he kind of does a half leap, and he makes the catch out there in right field. Palmer moving towards the line and back. Started to jog, and then at the last moment had to lunge up into the air, but he's able to make the catch, and Kendall's retired for the first out of the 6th. First time this season, Seymour has worked longer than 5 innings out there on the mound, officially 5 into 3rd. Top of the lineup now for Falmouth, it's Blake Dunn. First pitch fouled back to the screen, 0-1. Seymour getting up there and pitches Andre. How long do you think the leash is for him? Now with a 2-run lead.
I feel like you got to give him around 85 pitches. It seems to be the number that Pick likes to use as sort of a barometer. I think if he gets to 2 outs and the pitch count starts to climb, you maybe get an arm working, but I think this 6th inning is his to work.
A ball and a strike as the 0-1 missed down to Dunn. Looks like it's Carlos Lamelli up and tossing for YD. 1-1. Fastball misses away to Dunn. He's at 79 pitches after that ball. 2-1 to Dunn. Only 2 base runners have reached all day against Seymour. Here's the 2-1. Change up, flared, shallow center. Beasley moving to his left into right center, and he makes the catch.
Fans. Last call to
Beasley with the grab for the second out of the sixth, and that's a quick 2 outs. And now it's Tim Tawa to face Seymour for the third time today.
And credit Seymour for really handling the top part of this Falmouth lineup exceptionally well in this one, now the third time through the order. Little to no success save for the Trey Cruz single in the top 4 hitters in this very potent, very powerful, sort of a boom or bust lineup that Falmouth has, where they're on, they could very quickly hang 15. We saw them hang 15 on Chatham just a few games ago, and like that is what this offense is capable of at its peak. So credit Ian Seymour for working ahead, striking out a lot of guys and dealing with the most formidable part of this lineup.
First pitch in there to Tawa. Second one misses away. Now a ball and a strike to the Stanford outfielder. Feels like Zach DeLoach being on deck is significant as well for Seymour. Here's the 1-1. Grounder left side at the shortstop Young. Moves to his left, fields sidearm throw to first, and they retire Tawa. Seymour a 1-2-3 sixth, holding the 2-0 lead for the Red Sox. Bottom of the sixth coming up, it's Wells, Campbell, and Samuelson due for YD. This is Red Sox baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Bottom of the sixth, 2-0 YD over Falmouth here at Red Wilson Field. Wells, Campbell, and Samuelson, 3, 4, and 5, all coming to the plate here in the sixth against Chris Gonzalez. The lefty from Stetson has been good, but outdueled to this moment by Ian Seymour of the Red Sox. Only 4 hits for the Red Sox and 2 runs. Seymour just 1 hit allowed. First pitch to Wells, misses down and away for ball 1.
Spent a good chunk of last night's game when I was off, Brian, hanging out with Austin Wells' family in left field. Fantastic family. Got to meet his mom, dad, 2 brothers, grandmother.
1-0 misses inside to Wells.
Who had flown in that day. Landed in Boston, drove out, pretty much got there in time for first pitch.
His brother, younger brother, took BP with the team today. 2-0 to Wells. Called strike right on the outside corner, 2-1. And Austin's not the only athlete in that family, let me tell you.
His brother looked good in the cages today.
Eerily similar swing. Left side, wide stance, just smooth through the zone. 2-1. Called strike. The fastball right at the knees of Austin. Now it's 2-2.
You saw a pick after one of his rounds come and say, hey, that's a good-looking swing right there. And, you know, if Pick likes to swing, doesn't feel like he needs to tweak anything, you're doing something right.
2-2 flared foul to the left side by Wells, and we'll see another 2-2 from Gonzalez. Wells, one of those guys that Pick really rarely tries to make any tweaks or adjustments. Every once in a while, just a little reminder. Another 2-2. Called strike 3. Gonzalez gets Wells for his first strikeout of the day for the first out here in the sixth. Freezes him for a backwards K. One down now for Noah Campbell. Campbell reached once today on an error by Steven Moretto at third base. Hitting from the right side against the southpaw Gonzalez. The big hit so far today, a 2-out RBI double for Wyatt Young. First pitch on its way to Campbell. Squares to bunt, but he pulls it back. The pitch misses low. 1-0 to Campbell. Campbell's been pretty cold. YD needs to get their two-time All-Star going. Here's the 1-0. Campbell flares it, shallow right field. Going to be a tough play for DeLoach. Coming on, that falls fair territory. Campbell slows up around first base, and he gets a bloop single. Whitey has a man aboard, and Campbell didn't hit that all that well, but he'll take it for a one-out knock.
The first baseman from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo.
Second time now Campbell's been on ahead of Tate Samuelson. Samuelson 1 for 2, a single in the second, and a pop out to Trey Cruz at second base in the fourth. First pitch to Samuelson. Flared foul out of play, and now it's 0-1. Samuelson has been hitting the ball as hard as anybody of this Red Sox lineup. The results just aren't coming yet for Tate.
And it feels like a guy to where if he were to have some better luck, some balls fall, it could be a real sort of under-the-radar weapon for this team. The power's there. He's got a big body, a big frame, can really drive the ball to all fields. We see him do it all the time in BP.
Yeah.
And it seems like if he's one of the guys that could get going for this YD team down the stretch, that could be a huge barometer of how this team does come playoff time.
A ball and a strike. I agree. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Hit and run. Campbell takes off for second. They're going to gut him. And the tag just before Campbell tried to sneak his left foot in. He went in standing up. Tried to freeze Trey Cruz and just slide the left foot under the bag. Samuelson cut and missed, and Campbell's cut down stealing. 2 down now in the sixth for YD. They lead it 2-0 over the Commodores. A ball and 2 strikes now to Samuelson. Gonzalez from the windup again. The pitch. Breaking ball. Fouled off to the first base side, and it does land into the grass. DeLoach thought he had a play on it, but comes up about 20 feet shy. Gonzalez nearing that 70 pitch mark. It'll be interesting to see if we see Ian Seymour back out on the mound for the 7th for YD. 1-2. Swing and a miss from Samuelson. 2 strikeouts in the inning. They're the first 2 of the day for Gonzalez on the mound. YD can't get anything going despite the 1-out hit for Campbell, and they go down 1, 2, and 3 after the caught stealing. Top of the 7th coming up next. 2-0 Red Sox lead it. This is the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the 7th inning, it is Carlos Lamelli out of the bullpen for YD. Ian Seymour's sparkling day is done. He goes 6 innings, only 1 hit, no runs allowed, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts on the bump for the Red Sox. One of their best starts of the summer. And now it's Zach DeLoach. Thrown right into the fire is Lamelli. First pitch to DeLoach, misses inside from the right-hander from St. Mary's for ball 1. DeLoach is 0 for 2 today, both against Seymour, but he enters the hottest hitter in the Cape League. Average up above 400. The 1-0. Slider in there for strike 1, a ball and a strike. Lamelli started the season as a starter for YD, but he's come out of the bullpen the last 2 nights after just getting reactivated on this roster. The 1-1. Misses low and inside to DeLoach. 2 balls and a strike. Lamelli had to exit his start against Chatham after just a third of an inning. Had some sort of finger issue, and that put him out of commission for a couple of weeks. 2-1. Grounded foul up the first baseline from DeLoach. 2 balls, 2 strikes. But good to see him back, and even if it's out of the bullpen for now, another solid arm in addition for this YD staff.
Yeah, and this is, well, like you said, good for this YD staff, good for this team going forward, and also just good for Lamelli to be able to come back and continue to pitch, not have his season cut short due to something obviously out of his control.
2-2, misses away to DeLoach.
And it feels like this at-bat is sort of the benchmark, the barometer of how this appearance is going to go for him tonight. I mean, like you said, thrown into the fire with the hottest hitter on Cape Cod right now. Tight deficit. A solo shot doesn't hurt you, but it certainly puts the pressure on.
3-2, called strike 3. Lamelli puts the breaking ball right on the outer edge, and DeLoach is struck out for the 2nd time today. That's a start for Lamelli out there on the hill.
Yeah, I'm sure for Zach DeLoach, he's probably thinking, what do I have to do today? He sees Ian Seymour out of the game, which I'm sure he was happy about because a weak ground ball to second and a strikeout was all he could muster against the Virginia Tech Hokie, but much of the same against the St. Mary's Gale.
Now Trey Cruz. 1 for 2 today. Rips the first pitch foul up the first baseline. Hitting from the left side for the first time. Cruz had the only hit against Ian Seymour. He was on second base in the 5th, but Seymour was able to work out of the only jam he faced. Lamelli from the windup. Here's the 0-1. Slider, called strike on the outside corner to Cruz. He thought that was away. No balls and 2 strikes. Same pitch that set down DeLoach. Whitey leads it 2-0, top of the 7th. The 0-2 to Cruz. Hit in the air, center field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Beasley over into the right center gap. He cuts it off. Trey Cruz is 2 for 3. He has both hits on the day for the Commodores. Part of the 1-2 punch, him and DeLoach, that have been so solid for this Commodores team. DeLoach getting all the headlines, but Cruz has had a great summer himself. Already a stolen base today as well. We'll see if he tries to get anything going against Lamelli. And that brings up Taylor Smith. 2 strikeouts for Smith, but a home run threat. He's the tying run at the plate here in the 7th. Lamelli from the stretch. First pitch. Breaking ball. Misses upstairs for ball 1. Sun starting to set. Shadows just reaching the mounds, covering the feet of Lamelli. His upper body still splashed. 1-0. Fouled off by Smith, out of play, a ball and a strike. Lamelli, not a full side armor, but definitely a 3/4 arm slot. A lot of lateral movement on the slider. Really just goes slider and fastball. The runner crews at first with 1 down. 2-0 YD top 7. Now the 1-1. Swing and a miss over the top of the slider. A ball and 2 strikes now to Smith. Talk about a boom or bust guy. Average dipping down around 200 for Smith. Limited action, but when he connects, he has the power. Grayson County College for Smith. Couple of small colleges on this roster tonight for Falmouth in their lineup. Here's the 1-2. Fastball misses high and away.
Yeah, Grayson County College, a JUCO in Grayson County, Texas.
The other one I'm looking at, Cal State Sacramento.
Also better known as Sac State for those of us California natives. One of the more popular CSUs amongst Northern California high school students.
Check on first. There you go. Good to know. All right, I'm going to cross that out in my book. Sac State.
Sac State. There were a bunch of people in my high school, from my high school, my class, the classes above and below me that went to Sac State. Mascot is the Hornets.
Good mascot. Now the 2-2. Cruz takes off. Swing and a miss. Wells throw to second. Yeager can't hold on to the ball. Kicked into center by Cruz. He gets his second stolen base of the day. That was a close play at second. Whitey looking for the strike him out, throw him out. The ball short-hopped Yeager right as Cruz arrived, and it looked like Cruz clipped the glove of Yeager and jarred the ball free. He's on second in scoring position with 2 outs now for Troy Claunch. It was a swing and miss at the plate from Smith. Claunch struck out swinging against Seymour, as well as a pop-out back to Seymour on the mound. One of many men that Seymour just tied up in knots tonight. Carlos Lamelli out of relief now in the 7th. Cruz leads from second. First pitch, breaking ball in there for strike 1 to Claunch. You think Lamelli's going to be out of the bullpen here long-term for Whitey, or does he move back to the rotation?
It does feel like he's going to stay in the bullpen, especially with Legend Smith emerging as the starter that he is, kind of filling in that slot. And Scott Pickler knows what he can get out of Lamelli. Pitched well in a couple of his starts before that injury against Chatham. And so in a unit where you feel like you need a little bit more consistency, a little bit more stability in the bullpen, especially in this sort of long relief role, if you need someone to be able to eat up a couple innings without worrying about them wearing down and ultimately getting hit around a little bit, it seems like Lamelli's going to be that guy. I kind of like him staying in the bullpen the rest of the year.
A ball and a strike. Pitch to Claunch, swing and a miss. Now a ball and 2 strikes. Definitely going to be something to monitor, as everybody knows how important pitching is in collegiate summer league baseball, collegiate baseball in general, but especially here in the summer with your roster so fluid. There is a right arm up and throwing for the Commodores in their bullpen. Whitey's is silent. Trey Cruz on second, 2 outs. 2-0 Whitey leads it here in the 7th. Time called at the plate. Claunch steps out. Back on the rubber, Lamelli set, and the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Lamelli strikes out the side in the 7th, working around the 1 hit, a single by Trey Cruz. He has left the board. We're through 6.5. 2-0 YD. Time for the 7th inning stretch at Red Wilson Field. This is Red Sox baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
We are back with the bottom of the 7th inning here at Red Wilson Field. Andre Sims, Brian McLaughlin here with you. YD leads this one 2-0. Currently, after 2 runs put up in the bottom of the 5th inning, is Riley King set to lead things off as we enter the bottom of the 7th inning as he swings at the first pitch and fouls it back to the screen. It's quickly 0-1 to the Georgia Bulldog. Right back up the middle goes Riley King. Trey Cruz fields it, but is unable to make the throw as he was already into center field. And it's a leadoff single for Riley King.
Yeah, good job by King there, just staying through the ball up the middle. He gets another hit.
Right fielder from the University of California, Irvine, Jake Palmer.
So now Jake Palmer steps in. They're facing the new pitcher for Falmouth. It's the lefty out of Florida State, Shane Drohan. West Palm Beach, Florida native. First pitch to Palmer is a fastball in the outer half, and it's a called strike 0-1.
Wouldn't be shocked here to see Palmer try to lay down a bunt. He has good speed. Want to move up King into scoring position. Eister and Yeager have been struggling, but both have reached base and scored today. We'll see what they end up having Palmer do.
A 1 pitch is at the eyes of Palmer, and it's 1-1. This is the 3rd appearance for Drohan this season. Only gone 2 1/3, but the ERA is north of 11 as he's given up 3 earned runs in that stretch. He's walked 1, yet to strike out a batter. When an inning gave up 2 runs in his last outing against Katuitt on July 10th, as he floats in a breaking ball that stays upstairs, and it's now 2-1 to Jake Palmer. Palmer grounded into a double play in his first at-bat, then grounded out to first. And he rolls one through the right side past the glove of Clonch on the dive, and that's a base hit. Riley King's going first to third. Here's the throw. It's a good one, but not in time. Riley King just gets in before the throw from Deloach, who was already playing pretty shallow to begin with. Got a good throw over there to third, but slide to the outside part of the bag from Riley King gets him in there.
Great slide. He was really moving. Good speed. That's as fast as we've really seen Riley get moving around the base paths there. Pick had the windmill on, bringing him to third, and the throw came to the inside, the home plate side of third base. And King, great slide to that back corner of the base. Probably the difference between being safe or out. And now back-to-back softly hit singles against Drohan here in the 7th. YD looking for insurance.
So now Andrew Eister will step in, and this feels like a big-time opportunity for him, Brian, as he looks at the first pitch downstairs for ball 1-0.
Yeah, this is an RBI chance. He was so clutch in these spots early in the season. Feels like he's seeing the ball better today. A sharply hit ground ball out, and then a walk for Andrew Eister so far today. Man, it would be great if he could cash in right here and start a hot streak again.
Infield playing him straight away in double play depth. Outfield straight away as well as that one's ripped into left center field, and that's a base hit for Andrew Eister, and Riley King will come in to score. It's 3-0 Red Sox, and that's got to feel good for the South Carolina products.
Gets the RBI, and that ball was hit hard. Back up the middle, which is exactly what Pick has been trying to get into his swing over the last couple games and the last couple weeks, really. That's big time. Bottom of the order. What was the story at the beginning of the season? How the bottom of the order added so much depth. Wells and Young have done a great job carrying this offense, but today the bottom of the order has really accounted for all 3 runs.
So 3 runners quickly reaching. Now Yeager gets down a bunt, and it's a good one. Both runners will advance. The throw to first is going to be not in time, and it gets through the legs of Trey Cruz. And Jake Palmer will score. Yeager and Eister advance on the error, and it's now 4-0 Red Sox.
Another interesting scoring decision here. Perfect bunt, first of all, by Yeager. Pushed it up the first base side. Great sacrifice. Forced the first baseman Clonch to field. The pitcher did not cover. That's Drohan, forcing Cruz to come over and cover. Low throw, squeaks past Cruz, and all of a sudden, Falmouth reeling a bit here in the field. Still nobody out, and this is the part of the order that you don't want to let YD come up with runners on base for Young, Beasley, Wells, and Campbell. I think that might go. I wouldn't be shocked if they gave Yeager an infield hit there.
They did. They gave Yeager a single, and I believe yet to score an error. Imagine there has to be an error.
Yeah, there's a single and an
play.
error there.
As this error on the advance.
Yeah, they have not yet advanced Palmer. So Palmer's going to score on the air. That's going to be a throwing error by Clunch. So an unearned run at this point.
0-1 now to Wyatt Young. Runners on second and third. As he fouls it back over the screen, and it's 0-2.
Then that that run will become earned. So it would essentially be the bases are loaded here with nobody out. If Young gets a hit, then that run becomes an earned run.
Andrew Eister's on third. R.J. Yeager's on second base. And also good for R.J. Yeager. I mean, we've seen Scott Pickler try to use him in sacrifice situations. We've seen him put in a squeeze situation. It's been unable to get the bunt down in a couple of these instances in a couple earlier games this season. And that one, as you said, was about as picture perfect as you would want it.
Textbook. And he gets a hit out of it. 2 hits on the day for RJ. Could be a breakout day for him as well as Andrew Eister.
1-2 the count to Wyatt Young as he stands in. Infield is in, and the breaking ball dances just outside, and the count evens 2 balls, 2 strikes. YD with 2 big-time insurance runs here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Gives Carlos Lamelli a little bit more breathing room to work with.
No question. And a dangerous order in Falmouth that can strike at any time. That breathing room's important. Would love to add some more, though.
The infield is in to try to make sure that doesn't happen as Wyatt Young looks at the 2-2 pitch outside, and the count's full.
Interesting debate here whether you go after Wyatt Young or load the bases with the. You can be kind of careful with them. Lefty-lefty matchup in your favor if you're Falmouth, but Brad Beasley has been red hot at the plate.
Full count pitch to Young and forthcoming. Here it is. Spoiled at the plate, and the count's still 3-2.
Wyatt got the big hit last time up. Out dueling Zach DeLoach today. 2 leaders in batting average coming in. Wyatt Young had the big hit, and DeLoach an 0-for-3 day.
Drohan patiently waiting, now comes set. Payoff pitch once again. That one dances wide. Wyatt Young spits on it, and the bases are loaded for Brad Beasley.
Great at-bat by Wyatt Young. Didn't expand the zone, didn't try to do too much. And go ahead and walk me because the guy coming up is hitting over 400 over the last week. Beasley up to 6 doubles, has some power, and just hits line drives all over the field. So great at-bat by Young, not trying to do too much.
So YD has sent 5 to the plate here in the 7th inning. All 5 have reached base. And now Brad Beasley steps in with the bases loaded, nobody out. Big time opportunity for the YD offense to put up the crooked number that we've been so used to them producing.
Yeah, and I mean, 2 runs across is good. You just look at it on the basic level, that's great. But bases loaded, still nobody out. You got to cash in for more here.
Anything sharply hit on the ground figures to get through unless it's right at an infielder. The outfield's playing pretty shallow as they'll appeal to first. Nothing doing. First plate umpire Mark Chamberlain making the call. Beasley 0-for-3 on the day. But as Brian said, has been hot of late, especially since moving up into the 2-hole. That one comes inside, skips at the dirt. No advance as it's smothered by Smith behind the dish. Outfield straight away for Beasley. Real gap-to-gap line drive hitter. A little bit of space in left center should he choose to use it. And the 2-1 pitch is in there for a called strike, middle in, 2-2.
Outfielders are pretty shallow, too. I mean, this Falmouth team has played a shallow outfield all night, but that hurt them last half inning when Wyatt Young hit what probably should have been a single into the right center gap, but they were playing so shallow, splits DeLoach and Dunn in center, and ends up a double for Wyatt Young. Beasley could easily do the same here. Also great speed.
You would figure it would be more of a no doubles defense approach for Falmouth right now as they try to cut down as many runs. As a ball over their head right now feels like it would be a dagger.
Yeah, and also I guess they're thinking lazy fly ball. If you're playing shallow, you have a chance to cut them down at the plate, but that doesn't really matter a whole lot. Eister, not a ton of great speed over there at third, but it doesn't matter where you set up for those fly balls.
Full count. Inside, and that'll walk in a run, and now 6 straight have reached, and YD has pushed 3 runners across before even recording an out, and the bases are still loaded for Austin Wells.
Man, this must be pretty painful for Chris Gonzalez. He had his best start of the season, had to leave after 6, probably pitch count reasons, and bullpen can't get it done behind him.
So that'll elicit a conference on the mound. Still no official sign, no call to the bullpen, but this is not at all the outing that you want if you're Jeff Trundy and company. 6 straight have reached.
Yeah, a couple of walks, bunt hit, an error on your defense. It all started with an infield hit by Riley King, softly struck back up the middle. The hardest hit ball of the inning, clearly Eister's line drive back up the middle. But besides that, Whitey hasn't exactly hit the ball all around the yard in this inning. They did what they couldn't do last night, and really the last week or so, just push across runs without the help of an extra base hit. They've required the long ball or the double or triple, yet to have one of those today aside from Wyatt Young's double. And this is a good performance so far by the offense, just putting things together.
So Austin Wells set to take his hacks with the bases still loaded. The final line for Chris Gonzalez was a good one. 6 innings, 5 hits, just the 2 runs allowed. 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. But the bullpen has started the collapse as the first pitch to Wells is a breaking ball that misses outside 1-0.
Wells would love to get in on the action. 0 for 3 today.
Austin Wells certainly in that MVP conversation. All-star starter behind the plate. As the 1-0 pitch is another breaking ball. This one catches the outer half of the zone, and it's 1-1.
And that's a pitch, first strike of the at-bat. You're rarely going to see Wells go after. He's looking fastball early, something he can get his barrel to. Good pitch from Drohan on the mound.
The 1-1. Fastball driven the other way, but it's going to go foul, and it's 1-2. R.J. Yeager's on third. Wyatt Young is on second. Brad Beasley takes his lead off first. The infield is in. Outfield's still playing fairly shallow. Chopped off the end of the bat. Austin Wells stays alive. It's still 1-2.
That was a hanging curveball. That was a pitch Wells took a big cut on even with 2 strikes. Just out in front. If he's able to, normally something he does so well, keep his weight back and keep that ball to center, you have to think he's probably able to elevate that and do some damage, but just out in front.
The outfield depth is questionable.
Yeah, they're really shallow even for Wells.
1-2. Breaking ball freezes him on the inner half, and that's the first out of the inning.
Rough day at the plate for Austin. Couple backwards Ks. That one definitely looked like it was in the zone. The one in his previous at-bat, maybe a little more questionable near the outer edge, but tough day at the plate for Austin. Have to imagine he'll bounce back and be just fine.
Rarely see Austin Wells have 2 bad games in a row. That's the sign of a good hitter as now Noah Campbell steps in as the middle infield will retreat in hopes of turning a double play to get them out of the inning. And the first pitch to Campbell's a fastball that dots the outside corner, and it's 0-1.
Campbell, a guy who's been slumping, could you use some solid contact, similar to Eister. Not quite to the same extent, but definitely could use the barrel on the ball. Struggles from the right side at times. Would love to see him drive one.
Batting from the right side, switch hitter. So 0-1 pitch is a breaking ball that misses well outside, and it's 1-1. Still bases loaded for YD. And despite already pushing 3 runners across, this has the feeling where, like you said, Brian, they really should get more than that. And it feels like 3 would be a bit of a disappointment should they strand the bases loaded.
Yep, completely agree.
The 1-1. Inside, Campbell spits on it, and it's 2-1.
And it's one thing if they're just walking you in. Already one RBI walk in the inning for YD to Beasley, but feels like aside from Eister, this offense really has been, you have the RBI hit of Young and now Eister, but they need some solid contact.
2-1 pitch. That one driven back up the middle, and that's going to be caught on the run by Blake Dunn. Yeager's coming in, the throw, and it gets past Smith behind the plate. Now Wyatt Young and Brad Beasley will advance, and it's 6-0 Red Sox.
Awkward play. Where Campbell's bat landed after hitting it in the air was right up the third baseline, right where Yeager probably would have slid. So he had to go in standing up to the plate. Would have been a close play if Smith had been able to hang on to the ball, but YD able to push one across.
So now it's second and third, 2 down here for Tate Samuelson. The 9th man to come to the plate for YD here in the 7th is now Riley King, who led off this inning with an infield single, waits on deck. Samuelson looks at the first pitch in there for a called strike at the knees, 0-1. It was a Riley King single followed by a Jake Palmer single in which Riley King went first to third. He then scored on the Andrew Eister single. They both advanced on the R.J. Yeager bunt single and then the subsequent throwing error. Samuelson fouls it back, and it's 0-2. Eister then scored on the Wyatt Young walk. Brad Beasley walked behind him. Wells and Campbell got out. Wells struck out Campbell with an RBI sac fly, and that's where we stand right now. Samuelson down in the count 0-2. Spoils it at the plate, chops it foul. Four runs in the inning for YD. They're now up to 6 runs on 9 hits. No errors. Falmouth with no runs, 2 hits, and now 3 errors. And that's something you never want to see, is the error count higher than your hit total. O2 pitch is well high.
Not going to win many ball games if you have more errors than hits. Just been one of those days for Falmouth. Seymour shut him down, and then YD has put pressure on the defense, especially here in the 7th.
I think the best thing that happened in this game, Brian, is that YD did get 2 in the 5th and set Ian Seymour up for a win in this one.
Yeah.
1-2 to Samuelson. Grounded back up the middle. Kevin Kendall fields, goes over to first, and that'll finally put an end to the inning. YD breaks this one wide open, hangs a 4 spot in the bottom of the 7th. We head to the 8th. Lamelli back out there. It's 6-0 Red Sox. You're listening to Red Sox Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the 8th inning, Carlos Lamelli now spotted with the 6-0 lead.
Designated hitter from the University of Alabama.
Lamelli out of the stretch with his Johnny Cueto-esque shimmy.
Tyler Ross.
Delivers a ball 1-0. Tyler Ross spoils it off the left side, and it's now 1-1. One is chopped, and that's foul off the right side, and it's now 1-2. Big time, bottom of the 7th inning. 4YD busting this game open as that one's chopped. High hop to Yeager, and it's a good thing he's a tall second baseman, DJ LeMahieu-esque, as if Wyatt Young's over there at second, I'm pretty sure that's over his head.
Yeah, that hit the lip of the grass. It's really bouncing today. Yeager 6'3", and a good leap over there to make the snag for the first out. Whitey does have somebody up in their bullpen, so I'm not sure how long Lamelli's going to go today. They do have a little bit more room to work with, can get a couple other guys in up by 6.
Now the 8th place hitter, Stephen Moretto, out of Sac State, as Brian has learned, as he swings and fouls the first pitch off the right side, 0-1.
I always know when I'm on with you, Andre. If there's a California school I don't know, I'm going to find out about it. Had to bring up, well, it was initially Cal State Sacramento listed on Point Streak, and so that's what I went with, but figured if I brought it up, you'd let me know.
Colloquially known, Sac State. Just Cal State Sacramento is such a mouthful to say.
I agree.
The 1-1 from Lamelli on the ground, Wyatt Young. Fields it on the hop. Over to first, and that's the second out of the inning.
So what relation does Sac State have to Cal State Fullerton? Because they're both Cal State.
So how it works in California is there's the UCs and the CSUs. They're both a series of public colleges.
Okay.
There's either the California University like the University of California, Los Angeles, University of California, Berkeley, University of California, San Diego. And then there's the state schools, the CSUs, Cal State Fullerton.
Interesting. And are they all
San Diego State?
They're separate schools, but they're just under a similar...
Yes, they're all in the same system.
Gotcha.
So it's somewhat complicated, but it all works.
Okay.
So Scott Pickler going to the bullpen here. Lamelli's day is done. We will tell you all about the new YD pitcher on the other side of this break. You're listening to Red Sox Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Jacob Winger on now in relief. 4YD as the first pitch is grounded to RJ Yeager at second. On the throw, good scoop from Tate Samuelson, and with one pitch, Jacob Winger sets down Kevin Kendall, and that'll end the 8th inning. So a great defensive inning for RJ Yeager as he leaps up to sky the tricky hop and then fields on the backhand and fires a strong throw to Samuelson. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for a combination of Lamelli and Winger. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning. You're listening to Red Sox Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. As he did in the 7th inning, Riley King set to lead things off here in the 8th as YD sent 9 to the plate in the last half inning en route to a 4 spot to bust this game wide open. Andre Sims, Brian McLaughlin here with you. The Georgia Bulldog steps in and looks at a first pitch that goes all the way back to the backstop. 1-0. That one is absolutely smoked into center field off the bat of Riley King. Looking up is Blake Dunn, and it is gone. Riley King with his 3rd home run of the year smokes it to straightaway center field, and it's 7-0 Red Sox.
Yeah, no doubter. Riley King really is hitting the ball well at the plate. He's close to registering for the batting title. 3rd home run of the week now for Riley King, and he's really swinging it. All-star nominee, going to be the starter at 3rd base. Good for Riley King. Another great addition in the power department to this order.
So safe to say the awakening of Riley King has happened, and it's also safe to say that moving him down towards the 6th, 7th spot of the order is exactly what he needed to really give him a shot in the arm here.
So do you move him back up to the 4th spot?
Absolutely not.
Keeping him. All right.
I'm keeping him in the 6th spot, and I'm keeping Beasley in the 2nd spot.
Yep, agreed. Those 2 moves have really worked for this YD offense.
0-1 pitch to Jake Palmer is a breaking ball in there for a called strike. So a quick welcome to the ball game for the new Falmouth arm, Zachary Britsky from Virginia Tech. So he's very quickly welcomed with the solo shot off the bat of the Georgia 3rd baseman. Palmer down to a knees. He's out swinging on the breaking ball. That's the 1st out of the inning.
Looks like pinch hitter as well. They're going to end Eister's day on a good note. Let Jack Thomas Wolds get a swing.
Now batting from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, Jack Thomas Wold.
So Jack Thomas Wold, the UNLV Rebel, will step in. Batting from the left side. No wind here today at Red Wilson's. The flag lays limp out there in left center field. Although the Riley King home run didn't need anything, as that ball was absolutely smoked on a line out of here, hit the tree trunks in straightaway center field. Wold finds himself down 0-1 as he fouls the first pitch back. Now the 0-1 pitch is well wide, and it evens 1-1.
Riley King's average up to 365. That's even with Wyatt Young. I'm trying to figure out if Riley's going to qualify for the batting title. He's really close.
1-1 pitch to Wold is sliced foul and out of play off the left side, 1-2. For those who are listening and don't know what it takes to qualify for the batting title, you need 2.7 at-bats per team game. Not per game that you yourself have played, but per as many games as the team has played. And this is game, quick math in my head,
29.
29. 15, 11 is 26, 28. And 2, so yes, this is game number 29 currently.
Played 20, yes, there we go.
We are in game 29 today.
He'll need 79 plate appearances in order to qualify. Working on that math as we speak.
Wolds flares the 1-2 pitch on the ground to short. Kendall over to first, and that's the 2nd out of the inning. So we continue to work on if Riley King qualifies for the batting title. And while that happens, R.J. Yeager will come to the plate.
Oh, we're close.
Second baseman from Mercer University.
Coming into today, Riley King had 74 plate appearances. He's at 4. He's at 78. He's 0.3 shy of qualifying. So he's just not going to qualify.
Yeah, so unless YD once again bats around in this inning and he gets a 5th plate appearance.
Feels like after tomorrow he should qualify.
Yeah, so if he needs 79 as
78,
of today.
So 29 times 2.7 is 78.3. And he's at 78 at the moment.
So 30 times 2.7, as it's quickly 0-2 to R.J. Yeager's 81.
So then he would need 3 times to the plate tomorrow, which it feels like he should get.
Yeah, so soon to qualify for the batting title is Riley King, one of the all-star starters from this YD team. Yeager facing the 0-2 pitch. Chopped up the middle, another opportunity for Kevin Kendall just behind second base. He'll make the play over to first, and that'll end the inning. So a leadoff solo shot off the bat of soon-to-be qualified for the batting title, Riley King. Gets YD another run here in the 8th inning. We head to the top of the 9th. It's 7-0 Red Sox. Jacob Winger out to close it here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Top of the 9th inning, Jacob Winger on to close things out for the Red Sox here as they've been in control for really all of this one despite being matched 0 for 0 through 4 innings. It's 7-0 Red Sox as Falmouth has been unable to get anything going tonight. YD got 2 in the 5th, 4 in the 7th, and then 1 more in the 8th.
From the College of the Holy Cross.
It'll be a pinch hitter for Blake Dunn. It's Austin Mazel as he spoils the first pitch out of play, 0-1.
College of the Holy Cross from Stoneham, Massachusetts. So,
Local guy,
yeah. Hitting .405 and under 40 at-bats, but has hit well for the Commodores.
First pitch, or excuse me, the 0-1 pitch misses outside from Winger, 1-1. It's 1, 2, and 3 of this Falmouth order, with, of course, Mazel taking the place of Blake Dunn. Waves and misses at the 1-1 off-speed pitch, and it's 1-2.
Cardenas in there behind the plate. Austin Wells moves out to left. And that's the Jack Thomas Wold spot in the order. So Cardenas in there. Not that it should matter.
1-2 pitch is lifted lazily into shallow right field. And actually won't even escape the infield as Yeager puts it away for the first out of the frame. And now Tim Taba will step in, but it looks like it'll actually be Austin Langworthy.
Both teams going to the bench a little bit here. Last half inning likely. Langworthy getting at-bat from Florida, so not exactly the College of Holy Cross. A little bit bigger name, Power 5 guy.
Langworthy on the year struggling at the plate. 160 average as he looks at a called strike 0-1. Also has made 2 appearances on the mound. Went 2/3 of an inning against Brewster, gave up 4, and then pitched a scoreless inning and got the win in a game against Chatham. And he skies one into right field, but Palmer's got a beat on it. He's underneath it just to his right. And that's quickly the second out of the inning.
Good job by Winger. Continues to impress. Another temp guy who I think is going to work his way into more meaningful spots out of this bullpen for YD. At first used just as a guy when it was a blowout or a close or a big-time loss. He's going to continue to find his way into bigger and bigger moments, I think, moving forward.
Winger, the Stuart, Florida native, 6'5", 210 on the mound. ZRA sits at just a casual .84.
Yeah, he's been really good, and so I think you got to start trusting him in bigger moments to try to add some depth, to go with guys like Carvajal down there, to go with Dollard, who are currently the 1-2 punch on the back end.
Only giving up an earned run in one outing, as that one is set towards the YD bullpen, and it's quickly 0-2. That only earned run came and it lost to Chatham back on June 15th. Other than that, he has been spotless. Had one unearned run in the 13-1 win against Hyannis. But other than that, not one person has scored on the High Point University product. And the 0-2 swung on and missed on the high fastball, and that'll do it. Winger shuts the door on what is a very complete win for YD. A 7-0 final score as Brian, once again, the bottom part of the order really was the story in this one. All of the runs scored in this one came from 6 through 9 in the order, and for a team that's looking to find some more consistency offensively, you got to like what you saw tonight.
Yep, Andrew Eister and RJ Yeager both scored twice. To me, that's what stands out when I'm looking at this performance by YD. Yeager got an RBI hit, or he had a bunt hit. Eister had an RBI hit. Both of those guys scoring a couple times and getting it done at the bottom of the order is big time for this YD team and adding depth to go with Wyatt Young. But on a night when Beasley, Wells, and Campbell all struggled, to be able to get production from everywhere else in the lineup is just really massive for this YD team moving forward.
And of course, once again, the tone was set on the mound by Ian Seymour as we assume is going to be finishing his YD career tonight. And it was an outstanding performance from him. 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs allowed, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts. And Brian, they're going to miss him for the rest of this season. But what has impressed you the most about Ian Seymour and his time with YD?
Got to be the strikeout ability and the just movement he has on his pitches. He's not always pinpoint command like you might see at Trent Denholm, but I think his stuff is as good as there is on YD's roster. Fastball hovering right around 90, and then great feel for his curveball and changeup. Really important. The way he's able to get strikeouts without any walks, I think, stands out to me. Tonight, I mean, the staff in general, bounce back performance from last night. They get 11 total strikeouts, only 2 hits allowed on the evening. Just great job from Seymour, Lamelli, and Winger, but obviously the 6 innings from the starter, Seymour, has to be what stands out.
But after Seymour, like you said, came Lamelli and Winger. And Brian, for a team that is lacking consistency in the bullpen, how important can those 2 arms be going forward for this team?
They add depth, right? We were just saying that for Winger. I think you are going to continue to see bigger spots. Lamelli a little bit more battle-tested at this point as a starter. Winger, I really think, has to start seeing the mound more in higher leverage opportunities. Whether that's the 7th inning of a close game before Carvajal and Dollard, it just adds a little bit of length to the bullpen, because right now these starters are all going about 5 or 6 innings on good starts. And then the question is, who gets the ball to Carvajal and Dollard? We've seen Corrigan try his hand at it. He's been okay. I think Winger might be a guy that could step into that role on really tight ball games. And I would say the same about Carlos Lamelli. Tough guy to hit, the way his stuff moves and the way he comes from that arm slot. They're 2 guys that are going to continue to see higher leverage opportunities out of the pen.
So in the end, a very top-to-bottom complete performance for this YD team. As I mentioned, all 7 runs coming from the bottom half of the order. Wyatt Young got the big-time 2 RBI hit to open the scoring in the 5th, and then just kept the line moving in the 7th inning en route to a 4 spot that really broke it open. Really was the dagger in this one as YD cruises eventually to a 7-run victory here. YD finishes with 7 runs on 10 hits, no errors. Falmouth, no runs, 2 hits, 3 errors that proved to be very, very costly in this one. And that'll about do us for us here at Red Wilson Field. We'll be right back here, another home game tomorrow as it's game 2 of 3 of this homestand. The YD Red Sox, of course, will be taking on the Harwich Mariners in an Eastern Division clash. For Brian McLaughlin, I'm Andre Sims. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine Sunday evening. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. YD wins by a final score of 7-0. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time.